This Before You Sew series is for those who are brand new to embroidery, know what to do before you start your sewing. I sell kits to go with homeschooling lessons, but this is also great for any new beginner, whether you buy my kits or not. I hope this helps you and that you can enjoy it. So if you have not bought the kit and you are just doing your own embroidery pattern, you pick whatever size hoop you need and put it over the hoop, and so that it goes over on all sides, because when you put your hoop on, you need it to have some slack. Okay, so I always iron my fabric before I put on a pattern, so the pattern can go on nice and straight. I find that I always need to use water spurts to get it nice. So if you have an iron that has different settings, you want it on the cotton setting. And it's always good to have a towel underneath for when you iron. Now there are different ways of putting a pattern on your fabric. There are special kind of markers that come up blue as you draw on your fabric, but they don't last very long, just a few days. And so I find, especially with children, you need something that lasts longer than that. You can use a pencil. I don't recommend a pen because it does show through, so you can sew over it, but it just keeps showing through because it is darker than a pencil. This is a special kind of fabric that is sticky on the side, so you could call it a sticker. And you can buy these on Amazon or at Hobby Lobby, and you can print out your pattern. You could draw on it directly if you wanted to. So just like a sticker, we take off the back. Just cut my nails, so it's a little tricky. So of course you can start any side putting this on, but I found that after wrestling and battling on the bottom first and working your way up to the top is easier. So just like this, and up a bit at a time. Move it out. It does not need to be ironed. There are iron-on patterns that you can also use. I like the stick ones better. And there you have it. This is a Chinese-styled dragon that my boy helped me design for him to do. He's 9 years old, almost 10, and is in love with mythological creatures. But there is no limit to what you can sew. I have all sorts of different options on my Etsy site that will be linked in the description box below. There are all sorts of sizes of embroidery hoops. You can get them wood or plastic. In your kit will likely be this size. This is a 10 diameter size or smaller. There's even giant ones, which I find to be hard to hold for any length of time, but they are there when you need it. And there are special devices that hold your hoop for you as you sew, but I would not invest in that unless your child really loves and enjoys it. So if you've seen any Regency period movies, you'll see the ladies embroidering, and often they don't have a hoop, and I don't know if hoops were used back then, but I am very glad they are used now because it keeps everything in place. If you were to sew without a hoop, things fall over, and as you sew you can end up attaching this to here, and it is rather frustrating. So these are not expensive if you did not get the kit. If you got the kit, you already have it. But this is how you do it. So the one on top is always the one with the metal piece up there. You just tighten it. You want it to be nice and snug. So this is a little bit too far to the side, so I'm going to reposition just a wee bit. That way you can reach the whole thing within the hoop. Now you can move the hoop around, but if you don't need to, then it's nicer not to. And so you go all the way around and you pull it through. We want it nice and tight. Get all of those wrinkles out. And tighten it more if needed. I love that sound. You hear that? That's what you want. So it's nice and tight. And it makes your sewing back and forth much easier. That is how you learn your embroidery. The same process no matter what size. Floss onto your bobbin, and the length that you want to cut if you are sewing a good amount of the same color, the length between your fingers and your nose, like that, and then about half again. And so this is a rule of thumb for children too, so obviously mine would be a lot longer than a 10-year-old, but we still do 1 and a half. With embroidery, sometimes you are just sewing a few flowers, and so you wouldn't need that long. This is for when you do need a lot of floss to get the job done. So sometimes you will need all 6 strands of your floss, and so then you wouldn't need to split it. But if you need anything less than 6, this is how you do it. Here I have 2 on this side and 4 on this side. Now this is a short strand just to make it easier for you to see at home. At some point it will start feeling like it's knotty, and so this is what I do. Finish pulling it apart just like that. If you don't put it in your mouth, it gets knotted and it can get unusable. To thread your needle, you want all of your floss strands to be even, so you just give it a trim if you need to, or rather when you need to, because at some point you will need to. Now if I have 2 floss strands right here, it's pretty together right now, but if it's not, you just put it in your mouth just very quickly and you get it just a tiny bit wet. Take the eye of the needle, which is the hole there, and see how it's separating. Just get it a little bit more wet. In my kits, I include this handy dandy device, which is a threader, and threading is one of the most difficult things to get used to, especially for a child, and so this really helps. But of course you can buy this separately, you don't need to buy a kit. You just put it through the eye of the needle. Like a crochet hook, if you're familiar with that. Easy, and you just pull it through. Now, this shorter one is called the tail, and you just pull it down several inches above the end, and as you sew, you'll need to pull it up just a wee bit more so that it doesn't get stuck in what you're sewing and make your floss hook. So to make the starting knot, wrap once or twice. Don't worry if there's a tail, mine almost always has one. You can trim it or you can leave it. Whatever works. Wash it, it's still on there. This one, a little more gentle than that. It just starts to work here. See that? I don't know if you can see that, but that's a little piece. So the same if you're having a hard time taking it off, then you just let it soak for a little while, for a few minutes, come back and check on it, and then so again for any stubborn areas. Now it is just the fabric. So you lay it out to dry. Lay it out until it is dry. You might want to iron it. You might not need to. And there we go. All done. Thank you for watching the Before You Sew series. I hope this made your learning journey in embroidery simple and fun. Hope to see you next time. So again, you're welcome to do whatever embroidery patterns you want. But if you'd like to check out mine, there is a link in the description box below to my Etsy site. Thank you for watching. Bye. In this Before You